Amiibo, first introduced in 2014, was Nintendo's response to the whole Toys to Life craze. You had your Skylanders, your Disney Infinity, your LEGO Dimensions. I feel like those were your big three when it came to these games. The idea of scanning a physical toy on a portal and the character showing up in-game was such a novel concept back then, and people ate it up. And admittedly, I was there too. I still have a whole bin filled with Skylanders and Disney Infinity characters. And I mean, can you blame me? It was impossible to go to a store and not see walls filled with these figures. So of course, Nintendo wanted a piece of that pie as well. But instead of making dedicated games that required toys like Skylanders and Disney Infinity, they incorporated their Amiibo into their usual releases, meaning that you never needed an Amiibo to play a game, except for that one time, but we don't talk about that. And they were pretty convenient too, because you didn't need a big ass clunky portal to use them. You just scan them with the controller and bam, they're in the game. And to say Amiibo was successful is an understatement. The Smash Bros line, the Mario line, and even some of the other sets were proof that Amiibo was here to stay. And shit, man, they're still here. Even after Disney Infinity, Skylanders, and everything else Toys to Life related died out years ago, Nintendo is still pushing Amiibo to this very day. Hey, I've collected a few of these things over the years, and I think they look cool. But after all that's happened surrounding these things, you would expect Nintendo to just ditch the concept altogether. With price hikes, lack of support, and just the general disinterest in the concept, it's hard to really see why Nintendo still finds value in releasing new Amiibo with major game releases. I honestly thought after they were done with the Smash Bros Amiibo series, they were just going to call it quits. But after we got Sora, they did not stop there. We then got Tears of the Kingdom, Xenoblade 3, and Splatoon 3 Amiibo, all seeing releases in late 2023 and 2024. But with no Amiibo released after that, I truly thought it was done. Especially with the Switch 2 being released in the coming months, I thought maybe it was Amiibo's time to finally bite the dust. But the Switch 2 has been out for a couple of months now, and since then we've had Amiibo releases of Donkey Kong Bonanza, more Tears of the Kingdom, and even Street Fighter 6. So clearly, there's still interest in the concept. But why? Amiibo do what other Toys to Life brands never did. You see, these things have always been optional, basically glorified DLC to certain Nintendo games. In Smash Bros, you could use your Amiibo to train a CPU, and that was pretty cool. But in most other games, it just boiled down to unlocking costumes or something, like in Mario Kart 8, Yoshi's Woolly World, and even Donkey Kong Bonanza. But in other games like Skyward Sword HD, crucial game features were locked behind Amiibo, like fast travel. My point is, these things were and still are so versatile in how you can use them. You don't have to own these things to enjoy the games they're compatible with, but if you're interested in that extra content they offer, then you can buy them. But over the years, a couple of problems have arisen when it comes to Amiibo. First, there are the price hikes. These things used to go for 15 bucks a pop, but nowadays it's difficult to find a new one for under 30 bucks. Donkey Kong, the newer Tears of the Kingdom ones, hell, the Street Fighter ones are 40. That's a large asking price, especially when taking into account how expensive some of these new Nintendo games are getting. Is the extra content really worth that price? And from the collector side of things, I think Amiibo have always had great designs. The details are so intricate, and they are pretty good replicas of the reference renders. But if you're collecting Amiibo just as minifigures, $40? Look, I collect some weird shit, but even I think that 40 bucks at retail for an Amiibo is kind of insane. And it's even worse when you think about how much they used to cost. It's become apparent that Amiibo are only here for Nintendo to make some extra cash. And the fact that with some Amiibo, they're locking crucial game features behind them jacks up the price even higher than it probably should be. But even with that, support for Amiibo is not what it used to be. In the Wii U days, man, they were pushing Amiibo hard. Pretty much every first-party Nintendo release incorporated Amiibo in some way. And even with the Nintendo Switch, Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, and many more games at least had some sort of Amiibo functionality, even if it was minor. But now we're in the Switch 2 era, and Mario Kart World didn't have a lick of Amiibo support. Hell, it didn't even have Amiibo released with it. Given the support 8 Deluxe had, that's a bit strange if you ask me. Thankfully, Bonanza had one Amiibo released with it, but the only incentive to buy it was to unlock a costume that you could already get in the game through other means. And you can spawn chunks, which is like, okay, I guess. It's not really that difficult to find chunks elsewhere, but sure. My point is that Amiibo nowadays feels more like an afterthought in newer releases. But on that same note, it's kind of hard to blame Nintendo for this. I think at this point, they have nothing to lose when releasing Amiibo. They probably cost next to nothing to produce, and I can imagine the profit is pretty high, especially at those new price points. So I still think they see Amiibo as a cool novelty thing for the fans, and to be honest, I feel like this was always partially the case. Again, the whole Toys to Life thing has been dead forever now, and with a lot of the Amiibo perks being accessible without the figures in some way, their main audience at this point is with collectors. And that's not a bad thing at all. In fact, I kind of respect Nintendo for keeping these things on the market for those who want them. Even if they're priced highly or they don't do anything special, or if they're just not appealing to a casual consumer in any way, I'm thankful that collectors are still enjoying them just as much as everybody else did when Amiibo first released. So if you ask me, I think Amiibo are going to be here to stay for a pretty long time. As long as there is still a market for them, and as long as there is a small group of people who keep buying them, I don't see why Nintendo would pull the plug. I really don't. I just hope that pricing improves over time, you know? Because I would like to collect more of these things, but man, I just spent half of my life savings on this Donkey Kong Amiibo. It's going to take a while to recover from that. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about the whole Amiibo situation, and how they just haven't died yet. But yeah, I just thought this would be a fun little video to make, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. But that's all for me. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye.